one believed me when I said that Tornado was not gonna be the best Druid build. My Wind Shear build has now officially dethroned Tornado, and also in my opinion the best player for Druid mechanically. Limona, if you don't know, has been ranked many times on Gauntlet, also a great theory crafter. And he's also been switching to Wind Shear after playing a Tornado and pushing pits to over 100 it, but I've cleared 110 with no problem with my Wind Shear build. Literally the same tier that Barbarian I've cleared with my Druid without using the Holy Bolts potion. Let's go over this build and talk about it. Welcome to Goblin-Inc. I'm your host, Ace of Spades. We have made many improvements to the build. Let's go over the major ones, starting with the skills. We're gonna be playing with Bloodhowl and with Wolves. We have removed Shred, Bulwark. I've experimented with many things. In the end, I've decided that the Wolves are the only thing that does anything for you. They don't do much, but they do enough. They keep the bosses more far away from you. If they're melee ones, they give you some fortify, and they help proccing your God's Lair because of their high lucky chance to proc stun and freeze. So they're pretty good. The Blood Owl helps us rotate our buffs, the defensive buffs, and also a little bit of attack speed, which is important to hit certain attack speed breakpoints, because we want to use a specific attack speed for this build so that the frames in which you cast your Wind Shear are a certain number. We're gonna go more in detail about that later. But let's go over the aspects and the gear. We have my mace with the high Wind Shear proc chance. Unfortunately, that's not a good item. You do not want mace, you actually want a two-handed axe. You want chance to Wind Shear to be maxed out. That is why it's not very important what GA do you have on this item. In fact, having damage is not a good roll. Non-GA damage over time will be higher than damage in this case. Nothing I can do about it. I had to waste so many weapons, I kept breaking them and not getting my Wind Shear projectile to cast twice. Even if projectile goes above 100%, it's still worth taking. It will cast 3 projectiles, and it's the highest, most efficient thing you can get that 25% on. So I would suggest to get 1 GA item or even 0 GA item with that upgraded. The Yen's Blessing is just to get more cooldown of the Debilitating Roar and Blood Owl, and I might experiment with Hectic going forward on the boots. We have our leggings with a GA armor roll. Now, if you do not have Tyrael Smite, no big deal. My main build does not have a GA on armor, does not need Tyrael Smite. Tyrael Smite honestly has not been very useful to me, because even when the 110 bosses hit me, they do not do enough damage to nearly kill me. So all the DR I get from Tyrael Smite, still I don't get use of it, but I will start to get a use of it in 115, 120 pits, where without it I will not survive a hit from the bosses. But for now, not actually needed, and for you it will not be needed. So you can have Debilitating Roar duration on your pants, and you do not need to worry about armor, because you can get a legendary chest with armor on it and cap armor with that. The armor cap is 9,225. Anything above 900 and 200 is good. I will get there when I upgrade my legs though. Of course, we have Might on the pants, and the gloves we have Edge Master. It's impossible for me to run Days plus Shared Misery by playing Tyrael Smite. We go for the 20% damage. I believe this to be superior. I changed it on the tier list. And you can experiment with having Hectic on your chest if you do not have the Uber item, which is actually quite easy to get, as you get 1 Resplendent Spark from killing Uber Lilith, 1 from just logging in, 1 from completing the Wolves questline, and you only need 1 Uber before you can disenchant it and craft an Uber of your choice. God's Lair Crown, of course, you want to get maximum resistance to all as your first masterwork. and then try to get the damage reduction or another maximum resistance to all as your second one, and then go up to plus 12. The amulet with Calm Breeze, unfortunately this item bricked and has damage to close, but it is what it is. Attack speed, move speed, max life. Willpower would be more damage here. I would maybe suggest to go willpower percentage above move speed or above max life. We have rings with either damage over time or willpower. Almost identical type of damage, just to get what you can get. That's the idea. I have one with willpower, one with damage over time. And prioritize getting a good damage to distant tempering over the stats or the item being GA. This is an absolutely banger of a ring with a maxed out damage to distant and triple GA. I creamed when I got this item. Absolutely disgusting. The second tempering does not matter on the rings. We have adaptability and we're gonna have rapid on the ring. Which brings us to the next topic. Attack speed. Attack speed wise, I have 91% attack speed. I have reduced some of the attack speed in my Paragon board, but still I am a little bit overcapped in attack speed. Let me explain. We use actually the attack speed and lucky hit chance potion. The thing actually is that after using the potion, not before, after, you would want to have 96% attack speed bonus. Having more than that is really not that useful, and I will tell you why. First of all, even if I use 15% attack speed now on the potion, I'm not gonna go above 100%. Even if you go from 95 to 100%, the 5% extra attack speed is not gonna increase your damage, because each skill, like Wind Shear for example, has different attack speed breakpoints. In my case, if I'm using a mace like me with 0.90 attack speed, the correct amount of attack speed to have for the build would be to be 95%, well 96%, plus using Blood Owl for 15% more, and then having the basic skill attack speed, which will bring you to a total of, 141% attack speed, which would mean our Wind Shear will have 17 frames, and that's ideal. To go to 18 frames, to go to 16 frames, I don't think we can hit that. And I do not have attack speed breakpoints for two-handed axes. I plan on doing a study on the two-handed axe and see the attack speed breakpoints with that in the future. Axe is actually marginally better than mace. The attack speed on the weapon actually does not matter, because if you use a lower attack speed weapon, the aspect will increase in dot damage. So it's identical, but of course you lose a little bit of additive damage for the overpowered damage. Not a big deal. But, you know, if you want to use mace like me, you will have the correct attack speed. Swooping attacks, Iron Feather, maximum life, bolster, and this doesn't matter. Nothing here you can get does anything. It is what it is. Paragon board is actually quite important, and there is quite a bit to talk about it. The first and most important thing is the reintroduction of Heightened Malice. Unlike every other build in the game, we boss better than anything. We literally stand still and do full-time DPS. Because of that, even if we might have less DPS on our training dummy than Tornado, we have more DPS in actual gameplay, because we stand still most of the time far away doing damage. And the hardest part is actually just getting to the boss, and Heightened Malice gives us a lot of damage on creeps and trash. This has been the best thing for me. On top of that, it's also 8% life on top of that, for honestly not that many points. 14 points here plus this, it's very little. It's like 20 points for 8% life is not bad. Another life node that you can take, and this is important to talk about, is this one. You can get 8% extra life here, and it will cost you 10 points to reach that. Sorry, 9 points to reach that. If you remove those points here, and you want to remove a little bit of armor here and a little bit of damage, to understand, these points here are worth 8 point something percent damage each additive, and those points here are worth 10% damage. Those points here are worth 8.6% additive damage. Roughly 10% additive damage is 1% damage for us. So if you want to get 8% maximum life and you want to lose 8 or 9% damage for that, the trade-off is pretty much the same. It depends if you want to have a more tanky build or a more damage-oriented build. You can also use those points to get more armor or more magic resistances, if so you need. But in the build on the website, I am using for you guys a legendary chest with all resistances that will cap your resistances and also total armor roll on it, which will cap your armor. So if you do not have Ethereal Smite, you will be hitting armor and maximum resistance roll without any issues. Ethereal Smite is not yet needed for me. I find myself to still be able to tank most boss mechanics and still have over 50% HP left. Not even Lilith in Pit's T110 can one-shot me, meaning that I'm very far away from needing Ethereal Smite to actually survive. This item is probably gonna start to be needed to push 115, 120 if you plan to play like an absolute dog and get hit by boss mechanics like I do. I literally face tank them right now. Don't want to play the game, can't be bothered to learn the mechanics, just hit me with it, I'm just gonna tank it. It is what it is. I refuse to move, I refuse to play the game. This is it for today. Tornado's been officially dethroned. Wind Daddy is the best build, and I told you so.